Welcome back. We're talking about listening and speaking, and in this segment we're focusing on the guest speaker. There are two things that you need to be able to do: introduce a guest speaker and give a vote of thanks. Introducing a speaker. What is your purpose? To give an audience information about a speaker or guest. Planning. Find out about the speaker. Make sure that you choose relevant information and use a formal style or register. Formal style, because this person is a guest, you need to be quite formal. It's part of being polite. What does it mean, choose relevant information? Guest speakers are usually told why they've been invited. So something like, you're a fabulous sportswoman. Please won't you come to our school to motivate our learners, encourage our learners to participate in sport. Now, if you are going to introduce that speaker, you obviously want to focus on the relevant information around that person's being a sportswoman. The other parts of that person's life won't be as important. You must create interest and expectation in the audience. For example, by telling the audience about relevant background information and achievements. Just want to talk about expectation. When you create expectation, you make the audience really want to hear what this person's going to say. You create excitement and interest and eagerness. Wow, we can't wait. That's what you have to do in that introductory speech. How do you build that expectation? Through your delivery. Now, we've talked about pause and inflection. Remember, part of what you're doing is always adding to your vocab words. Inflection is the variety in your voice. When you are speaking, this is your instrument. You must make it interesting. And remember always to end strongly and confidently. You can also be asked to give a vote of thanks. Your purpose is to thank a speaker after that person has delivered a speech. Now, obviously, you can't prepare this speech until you've heard the speaker. So it's a little bit more difficult, but although you can't prepare completely in advance, you can do some planning. Again, you're going to use a formal register. You're going to listen carefully to the speaker and to note some highlights in the address. I really would advise you to take notes while the person is speaking. You're going to focus on key moments in the speech. You're going to mention strong points in the address, and you're going to end strongly and confidently. Now, you might say, yes, but all of that is still done after the person has spoken or while the person is speaking. Yes, but never get up and give a wishy-washy vote of thanks. I really want to thank so-and-so for coming today. You were very interesting. I'm sure everybody here has learned something, and you were very funny and you were very informative. That's very boring. But what you can do is take those headings. There are 4 possible headings: entertaining, interesting, educational, beneficial. And you put those headings onto cards. And then, as the person is speaking, you jot down actual details from the speech. When were they funny? When they made the joke about their grandmother, you write that down. When were they interesting? That description of when they were in prison, you write that down. The educational, something about what you learned. Maybe you learned from this person about EQ, emotional intelligence, and how that's important in a sports person. You write those points down. So your preparation is knowing your subject, that's the speaker, and thinking about what you might want to thank her about. Remember, the length of speech of these speeches, that's both the introduction to the speaker and the vote of thanks, is 1 to 2 minutes. Now, how does this actually operate in class? Here's a task that we do with our grade 10s. We say X, somebody, has been invited to your school to encourage the grade 10s to participate in one sport after school each term. We divide them into groups and we tell them, in your group, choose a suitable person who would be a good choice for a grade 10 audience. Research that person thoroughly. They're in groups of 3 and they choose somebody that they feel would be good, and then they research that person, all 3 of them. Then, by yourself, you prepare your speech. One person is going to introduce the speaker, one person will be the speaker, and one person will give the vote of thanks. You must plan, you must write the speech out in full, you must prepare your cue cards, you must practice, and you must time your speech. I hope you have been inspired to take your listening and speaking tasks more seriously and to achieve really well. Until next week, from me, bye-bye.